Today, I'm going to be going through all the rides for toddlers all through Walt Disney World. It's going to be Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. We're going to be going through the pros, the cons, is there a height requirement, what the height requirement is. Before we get started, I'm going to need you to hit that subscribe button down below, hit that like button, it really helps me out a lot. But let's get started. So let's start off strong. Let's start in the Magic Kingdom. I'm going to start off with the rides that have no height requirement. Top of the list is probably going to be Dumbo. That's probably Annie's top 3 ride that she loves to ride. The theming is adorable. If you go through the standby queue, there is a play area that you can step out of line to go play. It's super fun, just a little extra way to get their energy out. Dumbo, it's just a must when you have a toddler. With the second ride, let's go with the angle of Teacups, another top 3 ride for Annie, and it is a classic. So not just for toddlers, but adults alike. You gotta ride Teacups. Just now, Annie's 2.5, and we are just now being able to turn the turntable with her. Previously, the spinning was just enough for her, but now she's interested in spinning the turntable. She loves that. Next up is A Small World, another classic. You're gonna have to go on it, and whenever you're in the Florida heat, it's just always so nice to get out of the heat. It's so hot, but that's one of your rides that you wanna kind of cool down in. It's awesome for babies and toddlers. Right across the way is Peter Pan. Now, I might be the minority in this, but we are not a huge Peter Pan ride family. Pertaining to Annie being a toddler and riding it, she enjoyed it. It wasn't exciting to her. It is cooler. It's out of the heat. There is a loud bang in there, but it's nothing that's ever frightened her. Peter Pan is always a must-do. Like, you have to do it at least once. Also, I don't know how I forgot, but the Winnie the Pooh ride. Now, this is one of those things that whenever I'm asking Annie, hey, what do you want to ride next? She's like, the Pooh ride. Now, I don't know how I forgot to even mention it in the top 3, but this is definitely a top 3 for Annie. She loves it. Now, it is a little jerky and you're moving up and down. It does get a little dark in one of the portions of it, but overall, I would say that she loves it now. Now, rewind to when she was an infant. It did scare her. She really wasn't crazy about it, but now that she is over 2 years old, she thinks that the Pooh ride is the best. Another favorite of Annie's, I know I keep on saying favorite of Annie's, but the girl just loves Disney World. But anytime we go to Magic Kingdom, the first thing out of her mouth is Ariel ride. Ariel ride. Under the Sea. Like, she even knows it's called Under the Sea. She loves that ride. There was a past trip that we were there for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and she cried. She did not want to get off that ride. The cast member sprinkled a little magic and was like, that's okay, you can stay on. We didn't even have to get off and get back on in line. She said, you can just stay. She doesn't want to leave Ariel. So then they let us ride it 3 times in a row. Another ride that is going to be without a height requirement is going to be Prince Charming's Carousel. She actually, this last trip, ran towards it. She was so excited. This was another ride that she was very indifferent on when she was an infant, but now she loves it. Now, I will say that if you're a parent and you're on the shorter side, it does get pretty high when you're holding the baby or your toddler. I'm one of those moms that she can sit up on her own. Clearly, she's 2.5 years old, but it always scares me, so I hold on to her. So if you are on the shorter side, I would possibly see if your spouse is a little taller or if they feel more comfortable holding them. There is a belt that it is mandatory to, it literally looks like a belt, that it's mandatory that they put around their little bodies that will literally go into a little belt loop to hold them in. Prince Charming's Carousel, she loves that one. That one's another must. Another ride that I would say is a parent favorite would be the People Mover. It's gonna give you some rest to your legs. Now, what we did this last time is we got off of a ride and we split up. Tyler went and got some a Gaston cinnamon roll. If you're not trying those, get it. We just wanted to eat it, and so we went to go ride the People Mover. And the rule is that you cannot go on ride with food. I had a beautiful, lovely cast member share with me to enter the ride with a closed container and leave the shuttle with it closed and then feed my child. So that was really nice of her to say, yes, I'm a rule follower, I love rules, but she technically gave me permission, right? Now let's talk about some rides that still have 0 height requirement, but the parents can really, really enjoy. Now I'll start off with Buzz Lightyear. Now the first time that I took my now husband to Disney World when we were dating, I took him on Buzz Lightyear, and that was literally hands down his favorite ride for years. So we obviously have to get on that ride every single time. We always have a competition. I always lose regardless of how hard I try. I don't know what he does. I don't know how he cheats, but it's super fun. It's super cute. It's one of the few rides that actually takes a photo of you too, that you can download to your memory maker, which they need more options like that, but love seeing those photos. But it is fun for Annie. She knows exactly who Buzz is. The black lights in there. She's never been scared of the dark on that ride, so I definitely think that it would be safe. Another one is going to be Jungle Cruise. Now this is one that's kind of hard to get, and you're probably going to have to either rope drop it, or you're going to have to get a lightning lane for, just like Peter Pan. Those just kind of go crazy. Now Annie thought it was cool. She wasn't super passionate about it, but it is cute. It is something to do. It is kind of like a boat ride that you go through the jungle, obviously, and some animatronics of animals and some people. It is cute, I'll give you that. That's just not one for us right now, not to say that it won't be in the future. Next up is Pirates. This is another one that the line gets pretty long pretty quickly, so you're either going to have to rope drop that, lightning lane it, or the evening lines, or sometimes depending on what time of year you go, the lines get a little shorter in the evening, so that I would save that ride for that. It is dark all the way through. It is very interactive. Now I will be honest, I was kind of scared. Now I could possibly be a big baby, and probably I really am, but I was like, kids ride this? So it was pretty real. My husband liked this ride. I just wasn't crazy about it. Now Annie, she enjoyed it. She thought it was cool. There's fire, there's some animatronic people like chasing each other around. There's some dogs that she loves seeing, like she loves looking at dogs. It is another boat ride, and there was one point actually that I was like, are we still inside, because that looks real. Now is for the rides in Magic Kingdom with height requirements. The first height requirement that you have to meet is 32 inches in Magic Kingdom. That ride is going to be Tomorrowland Speedway. We rope dropped that ride because, again, I didn't really want to spend my lightning lane on it. Cute. She thought it was fun. Again, one of those rides that all 3 of us were able to get into. My husband drove it technically, and Annie has to sit, like your child will have to sit in the seat. That's one ride that they are not allowed to sit in your lap, and the seatbelt will go over all 3 of you. The next height requirement is going to be 35 inches. Now Annie finally hit the 35-inch mark, but we just went, and she was 2.5, and she was able to ride her first roller coaster. My first roller coaster was at Disney World, and I wanted to ensure that her first roller coaster was at Disney World, so Barnstormer was her first roller coaster. She did meet the height requirements. Now, whenever I let her ride it, was I concerned that I made the correct decision as a parent? I went back and looked at that video, and her face, I was like, oh my God, I'm starting to question if I'm a good parent or not. Like, she looked so scared. But then when she got off the ride, she was indifferent, and then she was like, that was fun. So in the moment she was scared, I think, or just this is just brand new and I don't really know what to think. This is the craziest thing I've ever been on, in which it probably was, or factual, it is. It turned out fine. She was willing to ride other rides after that. It didn't ruin her day. I think starting her out younger on those types of roller coasters will prevent her from being so scared in the future, that she was brave. Okay, so now we're in Epcot and I'll start right back with 0 height requirements, and I'll start off with a strong one. It's Annie's favorite, and one that you're going to need to either A, rope drop, or you're going to need to pay for a lightning lane. That standby line, absolutely not. You cannot pay me to stand in a standby line that's going to be that long, but it is Frozen Ever After. She absolutely loves this ride. It is in Norway in World Showcase. It is super fun. Now, the first time she ever rode that, I'll put in the picture of the first time she ever rode it. Like, I fell to my knees when that picture came over. It is the funniest picture ever. She looked scared to death, but she would not let us stop riding that. And thank God we had rope dropped it, and I had gotten a lightning lane for her, so she was able to ride it twice that morning. Highly recommend, especially if you have a Frozen lover. And actually my husband and I really enjoyed it too. Now, you could possibly get a little wet. The last time we were there, my behind was soaked. So it is possible that you could get really wet. Previous times we just got a little sprinkle, not that big of a deal, but it is something that can happen. Another ride that you're absolutely going to need to either rope drop or get a lightning lane is for Remy's. Now, this is a ride that Annie still hasn't been sold on, and we continue to let her ride it. The first time when she was an infant, she was frightened, I will be honest. Didn't like the stopping and moving and then things looking like they're popping out at you. It was just a little bit too much for her. Then there was some times that she rode it and she was like, that was cool, or she wanted to do it again, and that was fun. Now, this last time, she is a little bit more in tune with her emotions, and she did get frightened in some spots, and then in some spots she was like, put your hands up. So she is working through some emotions with that ride. Now, overall, I think it's an adorable ride. I enjoy riding it. My husband enjoys riding it. I definitely think it's one of those must-do rides, but you're going to have to plan accordingly. Another favorite, now some people think I'm crazy, but then you have the other 50% that are like, I'm with you, Andrea. Living with the Land. Now, I geek out about Living with the Land. Like, I love the education about it, and I can get super geeky about what we're putting in our bodies and how we're eating, etc. And that's for another time. I think it's fantastic. Annie actually enjoys it. Another boat ride, but it's so beautiful when you get into the greenhouse, I'll call it, and it is just so cool. A top ride. I have to ride it every single time I go. Can't help it. And Annie loves it too. This is about toddlers. Annie loves Living with the Land too. Now, another ride, I'll tell you a funny story. So the last time that we were there, we rope dropped, and of course the whole crowd, you're either going to Cosmic or you're going to Frozen or Remy's. Like, that's just where you're going. So this crowd that we were going to, we were all going to Frozen, and Tyler was like, this ride is all going to Frozen, and I'm like, they're not going to Frozen, they're going to the Grand Fiesta Tour. And I swear every single person that was walking swiftly towards Frozen, they all bursted out laughing. Now, this ride, why do I keep on talking about boat rides? Why? How many? I've still not noticed how many boat rides this place has. But this is another boat ride. It is outdated. It's cute. It gets you out of the heat. It's nothing incredible. Now, I do look forward to them reimagining it to Coco. That's the word on the street. But it's nothing insane. The colors are beautiful when you're riding it. There is a Coco area outside of the ride, which is beautiful. I think it is a beautiful ride for small children to see because there is so many colors and there is a lot of movement through the characters. Next up, we've got Figment. Now, this ride actually scared Annie. There's some awful smells. There's some loud booms. It's very, very outdated. I will consider this a classic, so it's a must do, and it has air conditioning to get you out of the Florida heat. Your child might like it. Annie wasn't thrilled with it just because it was so uncomfortable. It touches on your senses. They don't have as many rides in Epcot, so it is something to do. But speaking for my toddler, I don't think that it was a top favorite for her. Now, a ride that she does love is Nemo and Friends. It is another ride that kind of is like Under the Sea. She really did enjoy it, and my husband actually enjoyed it as well. And in that same area, there's an aquarium, so whenever you're done with the ride, you can go look at the sharks, and you can actually see an actual Dory and an actual Nemo. It is adorable, and there's a lot to see in that area. Now, you can't go to Epcot and not go into the big ball, which is Spaceship Earth. That is a classic ride. You're just gonna have to ride it. It is out of the heat, it's dark, it's kind of peaceful, it's not really loud, it's not gonna disturb your young one. And at the end, you can make a storyline of you and your family. It takes a picture and you can save the video. I have videos from years past. It's funny to look back on. I think it is cute. I think it is outdated, but I definitely think your toddler could possibly enjoy it. Now on to Animal Kingdom. Now this park is kind of sad to go to with a toddler because there's not that many rides that a toddler can actually ride. So you have Kilimanjaro Safari. Edie actually loves this ride, and we love riding. I would say at sunrise, sunset, and after it rains are the best times to go on Kilimanjaro Safari. That is when the animals come out. They're extremely active, and the scenery is absolutely stunning. So we have seen antelopes, just a herd of them just running across the safari. We've had giraffes just staying right in front of our truck, and baby giraffes, and we've had rhinoceroses. Like, it is a beautiful, beautiful ride that we absolutely love going on. And my toddler has absolutely loved that ride since being an infant. There's never been a negative reaction from her, and I believe that it might be one of my husband's favorite rides as well. The other ride that has zero height requirement in Animal Kingdom is going to be the Navi River Journey, and that's going to be in Pandora. This is another boat ride. It's out of the heat. It is really cool, like all the beautiful colors. It's dark, there's a lot of black lights. It gets loud in some sections, but this is going to be another ride that Annie has never been fearful of. She looks around, there's a lot to see up, around. The animatronics are incredible. This ride is going to be one of those rides that you are going to rope drop and or get a lightning lane for. I've never been one to want to stand in that standby line. It's not as long as some of the other rides, but again, it's going to be long enough that I'm just not comfortable with standing in line with my toddler, and she probably wouldn't do too well either. Now, with height requirements in Animal Kingdom, and this is another park that you're going to have to wait a while for them to be able to ride a lot. Now, Annie is 2.5 years old, and she has only rode those 2 rides in Animal Kingdom. The next height requirement is going to be at 38 inches. And like I said before, I feel confident that she's going to be at 38 inches by the time we go for her 3rd birthday party trip. So that ride is going to be Cali River Rapids. Now, it is what I'm saying. It's a river. It is a water ride. You are going to get wet. I think this ride is super appropriate for a 3-year-old, 4-year-old. I think it would be fun. I think that they would love getting wet if your child is the wet type of kid. Mine, she could take a shower 24/7. She loves getting wet. Now on to the 4th park, Hollywood Studios. I will say that this is one of my favorite parks. There are not that many rides for me and my toddler to ride, but I do believe that it is a strong environment. The things to see, we love just walking around seeing everything, whether it being in Star Wars or whether it being in Toy Story Land or Hollywood Boulevard. It's just a beautiful park to go to. So there are 2 rides in Hollywood Studios with no height requirement. The first one is going to be Toy Story Mania. This one is like Buzz Lightyear in the fact that it is an interactive game where you're shooting things and trying to get as many points as you can. There are 3D glasses with this one, unlike Buzz, but like Remy's. And it is so fun. This is another ride that you and Your spouse can ride with your child. Annie has sat in my lap and she has sat in between us, so that is an option for you. Annie does enjoy this ride. She thinks it's fun, it's interactive. The queue is just adorable. Now, this is one of those rides that we also rope drop or get a lightning lane for. The standby can get pretty lengthy. It's gonna be one of those rides that you're gonna want to do pretty early in the day or pay for it. This ride, Annie has never been fearful of. She's always thought it was fun. It does do a little jerky. When she was an infant and she didn't have super strong neck muscles, we did have to secure her a little bit more, but now she's 2.5, she's just fine. The second ride with zero height requirement in Hollywood Studios is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This is the cutest ride ever. Now, rewind to back whenever Annie was an infant. This ride scared the crap out of her. When she was an infant, the ride actually stopped because she was being unsafe. She was so scared, she was crawling up into my arms, like turned around trying to stand up. They stopped the ride, and over the intercom they said, everyone must be seated, and we knew it was our child. But now that she's older, she's doing so much better. She'll sit there, she's like, there's Pluto, there's Mickey, oh no, Pluto, oh no, Mickey, are you okay? She's really interactive with it. It is super fun, it's fast, there's some wind in there, there's a lot of movement. I actually enjoy this ride. It is a top favorite ride for me personally. I believe it's one of Annie's top favorite rides now. She's grown into it. She knows exactly what it is. She has a little toy with Mickey and Minnie in their car. It's adorable. The songs are adorable. The theming's adorable. I love it. In Hollywood Studios, the first height requirement that you have to hit is like Magic Kingdom, and it is 32 inches with alien saucers. Now this Annie was able to ride when she was at 2 years old. She loved that ride. It is unlike teacups for the simple fact that it jerks you around and it kind of flips you on the outer end really, really quickly, and your weight is even pushed to the side. So it is a little bit more intense than the teacups. It looks the same, but it is not. But it's fun. I understand why there is a height requirement. It does push that age out there a little bit more. After 32 inches, you're gonna have to hit 38 inches, and this is gonna let you on Millennium Falcon and the Slinky Dog Dash. Those are huge rides that you're gonna have to prioritize when you go to Hollywood Studios. With Slinky Dog Dash, you're going to have to get a lightning lane. If you did not get that lightning lane at 7, you better haul it to Slinky Dog. That line gets out of control every single day. It doesn't matter what time of year. You prioritize that ride. It's a giggle roller coaster. It's not going to be intense. I don't think it's mature, but it's going to make you giggle. It's super cute, super fun, and super smooth. Millennium Falcon is a very mature ride, so 38 inches kind of shocks me. Not for the safety, but just the maturity of it. It is extremely interactive. You have to push a bunch of buttons, or you're piloting. So will my 3-year-old ride it? I don't know, probably, just because I think it would be fun for all 3 of us to ride it. It's a cool ride, I'll give it to you. But she probably needs to be the engineer. So that wraps up all the rides and the height requirements for your next trip to Disney World. If you enjoyed this vlog or found this vlog to be extremely useful and helpful, do me a favor by pushing the like button and sharing this. It helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. I would also love to hear all of your experiences and your toddlers' reactions to all of the rides. Maybe they hit a new height requirement. That's the funnest part. Like, that's so funny and so fun to watch them hit those milestones. Also, if you can hit that subscribe button down below, you'll be able to follow on this journey and get more content like this. I'll see you next time on this channel, or see you at Disney World. Bye!